Welcome back to Unraveled Gaming, and I decided for the solo review this time I would do Raiders of Scythia for a couple of reasons. For some reason, I thought I'd done a video of this game, and I had not. And I think maybe when I first started doing these solos, I feel like this was sort of new enough that it didn't need a review. But in the last probably 6 months or so, I've brought this game up a few times, and forgive my camera shaking. My cat is just begging for attention, which I'm only sort of giving to him. And yeah, I several times it's come up, and people, usually in the context of talking about Raiders of the North Sea. I have played Raiders of the North Sea with at least one of the expansions, and I liked Raiders when I played it. I enjoyed it with our local gaming group, and uh, I kind of had it on my radar, but never really pulled the plug on Raiders, in part because I knew I would have to buy that expansion, or at least one, if not both of them. Because having played it with the expansion, I knew that the base game by itself I wouldn't have enjoyed very much, but with the expansion, Raiders was fine. But then Raiders of Scythia came out, also by Shem Phillips, same producer. And every time I mention it, people are like, well, I've never played Raiders of Scythia. And my wife loved this one. I got this one, I think it was on Kickstarter, or yeah, I think it was Kickstarter, and it was kind of a hit with my family, and so yeah, so I'm here. I'm actually going to do a playthrough of the solo version because I feel like people don't know about this one very much, and it sort of slipped under the radar, and I think it was kind of hated on just a little bit because it was like, I mean, yeah, it's Raiders of the North Sea with all the expansions, and it's not. I'm gonna put my cat in my lap right now because he is. Oh, of course. Now you don't want to pick you up, but you want to bug me, huh? Is that how that is? All right. Um, so I'll walk through stuff here and try to show you things. So you're going to recognize, if you're familiar with Raiders of the North Sea, you'll recognize this. I'll be honest, if you have Raiders of the North Sea with expansions, you're probably not going to want Raiders of Scythia. I don't know that it's going to be different enough to be worth it. And I don't even know if I would say it was better or worse. I'd say it's slightly different, and you'll pick up on some of the nuances. A lot of it has to do with there's no Valkyrie in this one; it's just wounds. But I'll walk through it as I go here. So let's talk about the parts and pieces. So we have 6 different die. So you kind of have your basic red die, which can give you wounds. That's the little blood drop there, and along with the numbers you can roll. You have white die that also can have wounds. In fact, they have a lot more wounds. And then if you're going to a site that has gold, you're going to have to throw the die that basically all it does is give you wounds. No numbers on those. And so if we look at the board here, the different pieces, we have blue, gray, and red meeples that are the different raiders. And just like Raiders of the North Sea, you start with, I can't remember the colors you start with in Raiders of the North Sea, but you start with one color, and then as you raid, you can pick up other color meeples, and you're only allowed to do certain actions with the different meeples. At the top of the board is the worker placement area. I mean, the whole game is kind of worker placement to some degree or another, but this top area has the actual places you can go, and on the right side of that are the 6 main worker placement areas that you're going to be going to at the beginning of the game. You have the barracks, the silversmith, the farm, the town center, the meeting tent, and the market. And at the beginning of the game, those are the only 6 spaces you can really utilize. And then we have the stables and the chief's tent that are also up here where you can obtain quests or animals. And but they will not be available until I obtain a blue or red raider. The resources in the game are you have gold, which is just a little hexagon. Um, we have what is this? Not resources. The brown ones are wagons. These are, I believe, the wagons, and then we have the livestock, and uh, the I want to say these might be called resources. So they're just like provisions. No, they're not provisions because the provisions are what you need to go do raids. They look like this. These little doodads here, and this is not upgraded. This is just that's just the base game. The provisions. You also have kumis, which are these little wooden chalice-looking things. They're pretty cool. And then the wounds are little red blood drops. And then this is an upgrade. These are actually fantastic. I love these metal coins I got with the Kickstarter and little Medusa metal coins. Those are awesome. And those are all the resources. So the cattle, wagons, resources, and gold you are going to get in raids. The coins, kumis, and provisions are what you need often to build up your crew and then go on raids. Um, the cards in hand and coins, kumis, and provisions, you can only have 8 cards at most, or 8 provisions, or 8 kumis. You can never have more. If you would go in more, you would just discard it to the discard pile. So, just like Raiders, you're going to pick, you're going to place a worker, take the action there, pick up a worker, take the action. What really differentiates probably this from the Raiders is the animals. I feel like that's a pretty significant difference. And so what we have are, and actually on my first draw, I've got one of each kind, so this will work out well. So you have eagles and horses. If you're purchasing an eagle, you're going to tuck it in the top of your board, kind of like so. And I've got on the left side here, I've actually got the AI board, which I don't even think the AI needed a board because they just collect stuff. So I can probably technically get rid of the AI board now that I think about it. In fact, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to pull my board over here so that I can have it a little bit closer to me, and we'll just have the AI stuff up here in the top. So you have the animal deck, and then you have 3 animals drawn. Eagles and horses. Horses pretty much either give in-game victory points, or they give not good at the mirror image here, or they give power. And so in this case, this horse gives, you can see 3 power there. The eagle in this one happens to give 1 power and 1 in-game victory point. Eagles are also useful because they can double the whatever your crew member they're on top of, they can double how much that crew member gives you when it's triggered. That's one type of eagle. And another type of eagle gives you a second town center action. So usually in the town center, you can just either discard a card from your hand and take the action of the card, or you can do the action of your crew leader. So my leader, I chose for this game. If I go to the town center, his action allows me to discard. Let me see if I can read it through the screen here. So you can see I can discard 1 card to make 1 crew member, to hire 1 crew member for free. So it kind of lets me use my cards in hand instead of using money to hire a crew member. Usually you have to pay money to hire a crew member. The crew member that I start the game with, in this particular case, he has the ability to gain 1 silver if I'm wounded in a raid. So if I had the eagle with the multiplier, I could gain 2 silver if wounded in a raid. And that's not for each wound, that's just for if I'm wounded. Or if I had the eagle that gave me an extra town center action, then I could remove 2 wounds each from 2 crew members. So there's as you get wounds in your crew, you can accrue wounds, but wounds are going to take away from your overall power. So if I have an overall power of 12, but I have 4 wounds on my guys, then I actually only have 8 power unless I remove those wounds until you heal them. The Kumis is one of the ways you can heal wounds. Basically, there's a site you can go to where you can discard a Kumis to heal wounds. I believe. Where is it? Oh, so at the barracks, you can discard 1 Kumis to heal 2 wounds. Or you can pay to hire a worker. Either one. So I start with drawing 5 cards, and I'm going to pick 3 that I want to discard. If I was doing this multiplayer, even if the rules don't always say to draft, we usually do a draft for cards, starting cards like this. That way it gives everybody kind of a fair shake. You don't get like just a bad draw on the first thing. So I'm going to choose 3 crew members among the 5. So, and you can kind of see, hopefully, actually I'll hold it up here. That might be easier. You can see the crew members have a cost on the left side there. That's the coins it's going to cost to put them in the crew. The very top left is the power, and then on the bottom left is what their ability would be while they're in my crew, and if they're in the boat, not the boat, if they're just in my raiding crew. And the right is if you go to the town center and discard them, that's what you can gain or do as a discard action. So player always goes first, and there are 4 different I don't know what you call it. There's 4 different, I guess you could call it like a leader card or a crew members that the AI starts with. And I picked the hardest one. So this one, he starts with 3 provisions. And I'm not sure, I think since I took his board away, I took his provisions away by accident. So we'll give the AI 3 provisions here. And his ability, he has 2 power, and whenever he would gain 2 provisions, he'll gain 3 instead. So that's the AI power. AI also can get horses through their AI cards, which I'll explain as we go through the game. But the AI has to discard the horses that it uses for its power to do raids, and the cards determine how much it needs to raid and how many points it gets, whereas I'm actually using the board more often, although the AI will eliminate provisions at a raid. Do some stuff here. Do I want to go ahead and hire? That's the thing. Gain 1 silver when raiding Chimera. That's going to give me silver. If I raid, I'm going to need, if I look on the board here, it tells me how much I need to do a raid. So in this case, I need at least 2 power, or because I'm going to roll 1 red die. So Chimera, you roll 1 red die. In Assyria, you roll a red and a white. You roll 2 red and a white in Persia, and 2 red and 2 white in Greece. And the only time you roll a gold die is if there's actually gold at one of the locations that you're trying to raid. So if I was going to raid in this area, there's enough for 2 raids. But anytime I'm raiding in here, because both places have gold, I'm going to have to roll a die there. I also need provisions. I only start the game with 1 provision, and so I'm going to at least need 2, in addition to at least 2 crew members to go on these raids. So I definitely want to build up my crew. I'm wondering if there is a way for me to equip myself to go on at least one of these raids pretty soon. So let's take our worker that I left over here. We'll go to the barracks and pay 2 coins. which I kind of positioned everything poorly. I'm going to put this guy into my crew. So now I have a power of 6. And for my action, I'm going to pick this guy up for a blue, and I am going to discard this guy to gain 1 provision and 1 silver. So that will get me set up for a raid by next turn. So that's not too bad. For the AI turn, he's just going to flip a card, and he goes down. So what he wants to do is raid Persia, but he is not... He's not going to be able to raid Persia because he is not going to have what he needs to do that. I'm trying to think. He doesn't have the power he needs to raid Persia because Persia is going to require at least 12 or 20 power. He doesn't pay attention to the crew members, but he would need 4 to raid. Actually, he would need 3 power, and he only has 2. So because he doesn't have enough power, let me double check the order of events here for the AI. I have played this before, but it's been a minute. Raid Assyria. Okay. First check if there are any settlements left to raid in Persia. There are. If not, your opponent would take a quest. There's 1 or more settlements left in Persia. They would check to see if they could... Okay. There are 1 or more settlements left in Persia. Oh, I see. So Persia is raidable, so he's not going to get a horse. He doesn't have provisions, and so since he doesn't have provisions, he is going to get a quest, it looks like. And he doesn't have to pay for the quest. So that means he is going to get the quest all the way at the top and furthest that way. And so he's going to go get this quest here instead of any provisions, and that's his turn. So their turns are pretty simple. It's understanding the iconography and reading the card for all intents and purposes for the AI. And really, this is what you're seeing me do with the solo version here is not that dissimilar from the multiplayer version and how it's played. You obviously the opponents have more thought involved and whatnot, but you are trying to. This is not a point scoring. I mean, you're scoring points, but you're really trying to beat the AI score, and so it mimics an opponent fairly well. Now, I'd really like to go raiding. I have my 2 provisions. I have 2 crew members. I'm trying to think if there's anything I don't have. I would have 6 power, which would be fantastic. So yeah, I think I'm actually going to go here, and I am going to pay my 2 provisions here, and I'm going to raid. The question is, where am I going to raid? I think I'm going to raid these livestock here because they can give me some other stuff I need. I have to roll 1 red die to see what I get, and I got a 4, so I add a 4 to my overall power, which was 6. And so 4 plus 6, 10. Then I get 1 victory point, and whoops, I'm orange. And so that's what, because if I had if I had 2, between 2 and 5, I would have gotten a wound and no victory points, but I would have gotten the stuff. So I'm going to take the livestock there. I'm going to take the gray worker, and I'm going to flip this guy over. So that quest is now available on the board when we are questing. And I forgot, whenever you take one of these quests up here, you refill those, but these quests down here, when they get revealed, you do not refill those quests. They're just gone for the game. All right, so the AI is going to go, And he wants to raid Greece, which is still raidable, so that would be an option. So he doesn't get the top thing. He wants to pay 4 provisions, but he doesn't have 4 provisions, and so he is going to gain 2 provisions, and his special ability is whenever he would gain 2, he will gain 3 instead. So he's going to do that, and then it is my turn. And I'm going to need to kind of figure out how to get some more folks out here. Oh, and when I raided Chimera, my herdsman's ability is to gain a coin. So I would gain a coin from that. We're going to need some more cards, and we're probably going to use the special ability of our guy at some point, but I'm going to need provisions. Discard 1 card. I don't have a crew member that I'm going to have to hire. So I think since I'm going to need provisions and probably some other stuff, you know what? I think there's an eagle out here I like. And I like gaining... I like the removing of wounds. So I think I am going to go here and pay 2 silver to gain this eagle and put him on my guardian here, because now with the eagle there, whenever I remove 2 wounds from each of 2 crew members, I can actually remove 4, not 4 wounds, I can remove 2 wounds from each of 2 crew members, which is a good ability to have, and I like that ability. So that's going to be that turn, and then I'm not going to be hiring. I need some cards. So I'm going to draw 2 cards and see what we get here. So we got a adventurer, which allows us to gain a strength if equipped with a horse and eagle. So that can give us a little bit more strength, and I can use any building actions as if my worker were already there. All right. And this other guy is the lookout, and she gives me 1 silver after taking a chief's tent action, or I can gain 2 kumis and take another town center action if I discard her or get one of the eagles over her, possibly. So we'll see. It's going to be the AI's turn. And the other thing that I wasn't paying attention to, when the AI played that first card, at the bottom right of the AI card, so I technically couldn't have taken the farm action last turn because it was covered up, but this one has the silversmith. So that means this turn, after the AI is done, I'm not going to be able to go take a silversmith action. It's blocked, essentially, because it always blocks one thing, because in a real game with multiplayers, you're going to have, I mean, this is a real game, but in a multiplayer game, they're going to block some of the sites, so you can't go to them. So that's something to bear in mind. So it wants to raid Greece. It could technically raid Greece. It has to give up 5 of the provisions, which it could do. It has to have a strength of 5, which it does not. So it's going to take the 3rd horse here instead of going on the raid, because that's the one thing it was missing. I'm going to try to collect all his stuff here in a nice, tidy, full fashion. We'll see if that works. All right. So that's him. And I cannot go to the silversmith, which is probably what I would consider doing at this point, but I can't. However, I could use my town center ability, which is pretty handy, and discard a card to hire a crew member. Who would I like to go? Well, if I raid in take 1 silver after taking a Tuesday, gain 1 strength equipped with a horse and eagle. I mean, I might want to equip with a horse and an eagle. We'll see. That's kind of interesting deal there. The horse is going to take, I'm going to have to get a wagon or provision or equipment rather to get that horse, because you have to trade in equipment for a horse. But horses can give you a lot of power, and there's a couple of good horses there. So that is a tough choice. Use your hero and take another town center action. I could draw 2 more cards. I can't go there. I could get provisions, which I'm going to need. But I can also get provisions there. That is a tough choice. I think I'm going to have to hire, and I want to get power. So I'm going to go ahead and discard the adventurer in order to take 2 less wounds when raiding Assyria with the enforcer. I'm going to hire that guy with my leader's power, and then I will I can't do that. I can't do that. I am going to end up taking this doodad here and discarding that card in order to gain 2. Oh, I could get a wagon though, which would allow me to get a horse. No, I have to discard 2 cards for the wagon. So I'm going to do that for 3 coins, and then we will do the AI card. So he wants to raid Greece, which he normally could. He can pay 4, and he has 4 power. So his total power is 5 right now. So he has to discard the horse for the power that he's using, but he gets to discard these 4 provisions, and he's going to get 10 victory points for that one, and I cannot go to the stables this round, which is unfortunate, which means I can't pick up that worker from the stables, either one. But the silversmith is free, and the farm is free. So this is a tough choice. Silver's not bad. It's going to help me. Cards are going to help me. I think I'm going to go ahead, and while I can maximize the silversmith here, I am going to take that, and are the barracks helpful? Well, actually, I changed my mind. I'm not going to do that. And the reason is I really want the cards, because if I draw the cards, then I can remove either I can hire one of these guys, or I can do a town center action with this one here. And so I can swap 1 hired crew member with 1 from your hand, or I can discard cards to draw back an equal amount. So if I play that one, I'm only be drawing 1 card. Gravedigger or Conspirator. So gain 1 card if wounded in a raid. Well, it gives me some power. I think I'm going to use my... I'll just use my Chieftain's action, I believe, and discard him to play her, because that gives me a good bit of power there. And then we want to raid Chimera, which there are places to raid. We need 2 provisions. We have that. We need 1 power. We have that. So we discard the 2 provisions and gain 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I cannot go to the meeting tent. All right. All right, so this turn, I am going to go ahead and get the silversmith here. And I don't need the barracks. I don't necessarily need the meeting tent, but I'm going to grab the meeting tent here. And I don't have a wagon to get a horse with, but what I do have is money with which I can purchase an eagle. So the question is, what eagle would we want? A silver when raiding Chimera? Well, we really want to raid Chimera again. Gaining cards if wounded in a raid. Silver I need less than cards. So I think we're going to get this 2 times eagle here and put that over our conspirator. And then we'll go to this guy. So he wants to raid Persia, which is technically raidable. He does not have any provisions, and so he would gain 2, but his special power is gain 3. He's going to gain 3. So that is her. And then now I'm getting close. I need provisions. That is what I need. So I'm actually going to go to the chief's tent, and I'm going to discard a livestock so that I can get 2 provisions and a kumis. I'm not allowed to go to the barracks, but I don't need to anyway. And I think I'm going to go ahead and grab the meeting tent and 2 cards. And because we can use cards to our advantage, and we're going to try to do that. So there's that, and then AI is going to go. And he wants to raid Greece. He could. He needs 5 provisions. He does not have it, so he's going to gain 3 provisions. And that is his turn. I cannot go to the chief's tent, so I won't be able to get that gray worker back. However, I probably... I'm thinking about going after some of that gold there and some of those wagons, because that would be pretty handy, and I could use a lot of things here. So, I don't need a gray guy to go there. I need provisions is actually what I need. So, while not necessarily ideal, it gives me what I need. I'm going to get 2 provisions from there, and then do I want to get coins, or do I want to hire from the barracks? I could hire somebody, although I think I actually am going to get the coins. That's what I'm going to do. All right. So we got the coins, and then the AI is going to go. And let's see, he wants to raid Assyria. He needs 3 provisions. He's got it. He needs 2 power. He has it. So he is going to discard those 3 and get 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is his deal. Now, you know what I didn't do is I thought he was supposed to eliminate things when he is raiding. If they meet all the requirements for a raid based on their current scheme card, you remove all plunder from the targeted raid space. How do you target which raid space they're going to go to? Quest, turns, alright. The opponent has everything they need to raid Assyria. They target the 3rd space. I see. So he raided 2, let's see, where was that one that gave him 10 points? It was this one. So when he raided Greece, which was here, and he had all the things he needed to raid Greece, he would have targeted this space and removed all the provisions and the worker there. And then when he raided Assyria, he would have targeted this space, and he would have removed all the provisions and the worker there, and then this quest would have flipped. So that's what would have happened, so that is no longer an option to raid that area. Okay, that was my mistake. Not like these should be disappearing, because once a certain number are gone, the game is over. So let's he did his thing, he raided, he got 6, and I can't go to the silversmith. That's fine, don't want to go to the silversmith. What I think I want to do is, wow, that would be helpful. Can I raid? I can raid, I think. I need 2 crew members, which I have, and 3 provisions, which I have. I have to roll a red and a gold die. So I do that. I got 4. My total power is 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 power. So I definitely meet the requirement for the 1 victory point that I get here. And I'm going to take these items here, which is going to reveal this area and give me that gray worker. And I am successful, but I got 2 wounds from the gold die. So I have to decide where to assign these wounds to my crew. It's Chimera. When I raid Chimera, I do get 1 silver because of my herdsman. I cannot have more than 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can never have more than 8 silver, which I have right now. So I'm going to have to get rid of silver. I gain a card if my conspirator is wounded in a raid. So we're going to wound her so that I can draw a card. And he would gain me a silver if wounded in a raid. He's got ability for lots of wounds, so I'm just going to put the wounds on him. 2 wounds each from 2 crew members. Okay. And they want to go to Chimeria, and they have the provisions they need. There are spots to raid, although they can't raid that spot that they want to raid. So I think they're going to take the quest at the top and furthest to the left, which I believe, let me double check the quest, choosing a quest. So if they're choosing a quest, arrows, the main board to claim, gaining horse in the same manner, have been raided, your opponents would gain a quest based on the topmost quest from the main board. Okay. I wonder if this bottom part is considered the main board and not these 2 up here. Possibly. I don't know for sure. But that would make more sense because there are no left and right quests up there. So I'm going to think that this is the main board here, and I want to have to double check the rules on that, but it means that he can take more quests that way, which would also mean that he would take this quest and remove it from the game, so it's no longer obtainable there because he can't raid. He could raid in Chimera. Actually, could he raid? He's got 2 provisions. He's got 2 power. He can raid. Actually, he can raid and he can take the resources from this space. It's not the space he was looking for, but he can still take it. So we'll give him that. And he gets 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it's my turn. So, can we raid? We want to raid whenever we can, and I have 1 provision, not 2. And I have a less power, but I'm okay with less power right now. I don't feel like I need the power, but I do need provisions for sure. And I have livestock to trade. So what will be helpful? Do we want cards? Or do we want to do something else? I have gray worker. Wonder, you know what? I've got all these coins. I'm not allowed to go to the stables. That is the place I can't go, and that is the place I would like to go. Gain livestock. Hire 1 crew member immediately for only 2 silver. That's not bad. Gain 1 victory point when raiding Chimera. There's only 1 place to raid in Chimera, so I don't think I really want to do that. But I could remove the wounds from my guys, although I would be better off raiding. There's just not a lot of superior options, and I'd rather be able to spend some money if I could, but I can't go to the barracks, so that is right out. I could hire a crew member if I went there. I don't think I want to go there though. And I need provisions. So I think I'm going to go ahead and draw a couple of cards. Because I don't really need the Kumis, but the cards are helpful. And I am going to take this one so that I can discard a cow to get 2 provisions and a Kumis. So we're going to do that. And then, let's see. All wounds from one of your crew members. That's pretty nice. Killed in a raid. That's pretty good. Huh. Alright, so it's going to be the AI's turn. He wants to raid Assyria. There are places to raid in Assyria, including the one he wants to raid. He does not have 4 provisions, so he would gain 2, but he's going to gain 3 because he's got not 4 provisions. So then it's my turn. I cannot go to the chief's tent, which is fine. I don't really want to. I kind of still want to go to the stables. But what's my power at? I've got 2 wounds, so we'll just count those. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 8 power, and plus I can roll some dice down there, but I'm not going to get the most out of those raids, although it wouldn't hurt. I'd almost be better off getting more power or raiding that last place in Chimera and getting the most out of that. I take less wounds if I raid in Assyria, which is awfully nice, but I need more power to raid in Assyria. And I wouldn't have to roll any extra die there. And I could get a wagon and 2 of those and that. That's a tough choice. That is a tough choice. But there's not as many victory points there. I think I'm going to try to prep for a better raid because I can go to the stables now and I can pay a equipment and get a horse. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that and grab a horse, and I'll just put it on this fella. So I have an eagle and a horse on him. And then for my next action, do I want to get cards? I mean, I will be stacked up on cards. I don't want that. Take a provision after taking a farm action. You may take an additional action at Chief's Tent. So that's all good. 2 cards, or I can get provisions. I'm going to need provisions. I'm going to go ahead and grab a blue guy here to get provisions. And we'll do that. And then they want to raid Persia. They need 4 provisions. They need 4 power, but can't get 4 power. He is going to take the middle horse and do that, and I cannot go to the farm, which I went last turn, so I'm kind of glad I did that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and raid here, which is, I'm going to have to roll the red die, and I've got at least 2 guys. I got 3 power, no wounds, so I'm not getting any money. I'm going to get 1 victory point. I will get all of these, all this plunder and a gray guy, and that's my turn. And then it is AI's turn. He is going to, he wants to raid Assyria. 3 provisions. He needs 3 power, which he will have. He will discard the horse for his 3 power, and he will get 7 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then it is my turn again. Oh, I didn't have to pay for that. Okay. So I've got this fella. And now my power is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11 power. I think what I'm going to do is go raiding down here in Assyria. I kind of want the gold, but that's going to cost me more provisions. So I'm just going to use my gray guy and go after as many victory points as I can get. I have to roll a white and a red. And let's see, I got to pay 3 provisions. And let's see what we got. So we've got 1 wound that we'll be adding, but when we raid Assyria, we take 2 less wounds when raiding Assyria because of my enforcer. So I will not take a wound. I got 6 power. If I take off my 2 wounds, then I'll just count my guys. So I got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 total strength. No wound. Nothing. Okay, yeah, 7. No special abilities to speak of. 17 total strength, so we get 2 victory points, and we are going to take. We're going to take this gray here and these. So that is plenty of plunder, and then the AI will go. He wants to raid Chimeria. There are no places to raid in Chimeria, so he is going to grab the top animal, like so. So then I am going to go, and is there a place I can raid for 2 provisions? Not much. I'm going to need more wagons later on, so places that give me wagons are good. That's not going to help. I'm going to need provisions. I don't think there's any place I can raid right now given my provisions, and I can't go to the town center. But I could get some more from the stables. There's places to raid in Chimeria. Gain 1 silver if wounded in a raid. There's nothing really worth doubling with an eagle. So I think a horse makes the most sense. There's one with 2 power that could help me. I can't go there yet. I've got to go somewhere else. I can't go to town center. I don't really want the silversmith. I'll go ahead and, you know what? I need wagons. I'll go here, and I'm going to discard. That gives me provisions. I don't think I'm going to use that. And I don't think I'm going to use the trader. So I'm going to discard them so that I can get a wagon, a brown guy. And then I will trade an equipment and grab a horse. There's probably a rule that says you're not supposed to change outfits between sections of your video, but I like to live dangerously. So here we are, hopefully for the final bit here. And I believe it is the AI's turn to go. So, assuming I didn't already turn a card, we'll just do Persia. They could go there. They could give up 3. They don't. They do have 4 power. So they're going to give up their 3 provisions and their horse and gain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they are going to take this from Persia. So we'll knock that off, knock to my guy, and go there. And I've got to do some stuff here, man. I need to go raiding if I'm gonna do anything. I do have a couple of wounds. Let's see, we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 power minus 2 wounds, so 12 power. I've got a gray fella. I don't have enough provisions. I need more provisions to go raiding. So again, we're going to have to do that. So I can go, and I can't go to the meeting tent. So I can't get cards, which is fine. I don't really need cards. I'm going to go there and turn in a livestock for a kumis and 2 provisions. And what do I want to do? I don't want that. I could do, well, I could get rid of cards. I don't need coins though. If anything, I need wagons. But I have plenty of wagons and a reasonable amount of equipment. I could get rid of a kumis. Or I could pay some funds. Gain 1 victory point. Gain 3 cards if killed in a raid. Gain a provision after taking a farm action. Provisions is what I tend to need the most, but she's got 0 power. That is a tough choice. So I get a 0 power person, but I really want more power in my thing for raids and whatnot. That is a tough choice. I don't need Chimera. If she was killed in a raid, I'd at least get cards. I probably will go with the barracks. I'll take that. I'll play her. That'll give me a little bit more power. Uses my money a little bit. Kind of helpful. All right, so we've gotten to the end of the AI deck. So we will shuffle that. Give it a little shuffle there. And draw another AI card. They want to raid Persia, which they could, but they don't have enough provisions, so they're going to gain 3 provisions. It looks like they always gain 2 provisions normally, so I'm going to stop citing the fact that they're using their power of gaining 3 instead of 2, because that seems to be the case all the time. No problem. All right, my turn. So now I've got a blue guy. Can I raid anywhere with a blue guy and 4 provisions? I think I can. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to raid this area here because it's going to cost me 4 provisions, which is all my provisions, which is fine. I don't mind doing that. And I've got how much power? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 power. Plus I lose 2, so it's actually 15 power. I'm going to roll all of these die. There's 2 gold there, so I have to roll 2 gold die. So I'm going to take some damage, most likely this round. Ooh. It's 15, 16, 17, 18 with the power, because I got a 3. So I'm going to get 4 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I'm going to take 6 wounds. So I'm going to grab my 6 wounds here. Probably should put that closer to me. I'm reaching a little far. All right, so 6 wounds. Now, I gain a card if I'm wounded in a raid with her. Not killed, but wounded. I am raiding Assyria. I am going to get these 2 gold and that equipment, so that will be helpful. And I'll flip that quest over, and I'm going to get this gray worker. And since I was raiding Assyria, I take 2 less wounds when raiding Assyria. So let's put 2 wounds back. He gains a silver if wounded in a raid, so I might as well gain a silver. She gives me a card if wounded in a raid, so that's just because I have 3 horses out, so I might as well get a card. Gain a kumis if wounded in a raid. Okay, so the question is, do I want to... Who do I want? I got to put these... I could kill her, but I don't know if I want to.
it would give me room to put a brute out there, which would be very nice because he's got 4 power, and that's not too bad. He's helpful in Assyria, but Assyria is almost done, so that's not a useful character. I'm wondering if it wouldn't be easier to make it so that I can take a wounds. I'll have to get wounds off of him and go ahead and kill her, because my special ability allows me to get hire guys a little cheaper, so that might be an option. And so I'm going to do that for this raid. I've got lots of I got a decent amount of resources here, so I'm not too worried about other things. So let's see, we want to raid, or the AI would like to raid Persia. It's available to raid. They have that. They don't have the power, so he's going to take that. And then it is my turn. I cannot go to the farm, which is where I ideally would like to go to get resources, but I also want to hire a guy. My cat is playing with my microphone cord. So I'd have to go to the town center to hire a guy. I'm going to have to remove wounds, but I don't have wounds on other crew members, so I don't know if I want to do that yet. Yeah, I think I'm going to go to the town center, and I am going to discard this guy to hire this one for free. That's my town center action. That gives me a 4 power guy for free, plus I get Kumis, 2 Kumis if I'm wounded in a raid instead of 1. That's not bad. I can use the extra Kumis most likely. And then what do we want to do? We can't go to the farm. I don't need that. I could use, well, I need provisions. So I'm going to trade in one of my livestock for a Kumis and 2 provisions. That will be my go. And then they want to raid Chimera, but it is all completely rated. So top, far right, they're going to take that quest for the end game points. And then it will be my turn. I cannot go to the meeting tent, and I still need provisions to raid. Plus, I kind of need to heal. I'm not going to be able to get provisions that way, but that would allow me to heal. So I'm going to go get 2 provisions, and then I'm going to use this town center action and use my Guardian's ability to remove 2 wounds from 2 crew members, but I only have 1 crew member with wounds, so I'll just remove 2 from him. And that will be that. And the AI will try to raid Persia. It is raidable. They have 3. They have 3 power, so they will discard that 3 power and the resources there and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then it'll be my turn. I do feel like I'm losing this game. I will say that it is not going well for me, just judging by the point total. I need to do a lot more raiding, and I think I've got way too many provisions and probably should have planned better. Alas, here we are. Let's see, what's my total power now? I got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 power minus the 1 wound. So I've got 18 power, and I've got the provisions to raid. I think I'm going to go with my gray guy down here, and I'm going to go ahead and raid there. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to have to roll 2 red and a white. There's 2 gold there, so I'm going to roll both gold. And let me double check a rule on the gold. I'm not 100% sure I'm supposed to be rolling both gold. Reading example. I think the gold might be only if both spaces at the place I'm rating have gold. Rolling dice. How many raid spaces in the chosen settlement have one or more gold present? Okay, so one raid space has gold, so I only need to roll this. I don't think I get any bonuses for Persia, sadly. So we will raid that. I've got well over the 20 required for 6 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to get that. I'm going to get this doodad there. So I got some gold and a wagon. I'm going to get the red worker there. And I'm also going to get 2 wounds. That was pretty stinking good to only get 2 wounds. Well, I'm going to definitely put one on him. We'll go ahead and get a silver. And let's go here and we'll get 2 kumis. But now we're at our limit for, or pretty close to our limit for kumis. I've got 6. I could get 2 more. So then the AI will go, and they are going to want to raid Greece. They could raid Greece. They don't have the provisions. They're going to gain 3 provisions. That is their turn. I can't go to the chief's tent, which actually would be kind of useful at this point. Although I really need more power to raid. Is there anything that I want to double up on? I don't think so. That's not going to help me much, but the horsepower would be good. So if I go here and trade in equipment, I can get this power 3 horse, which will help me. And then I need, what do I need? I could get a couple of cards. I'm going to need provisions. So I might as well get provisions. You know what? When I raided that last place, I was supposed to give up 3 provisions, and I forgot to do that, and I was supposed to give up a wagon. So I better do that. All right, AI turn. They want to raid Assyria. There's one place to raid that they can. They have the provisions they need. They do not have the power they need. So they're going to get that guy. And then I cannot go to the barracks, but I do have enough that I could probably raid other places so long as I have the requisite worker. Let's see what my power's at. I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, minus 3. I've got 19 power. I really want to get these points here at the bottom, but so do I get resources or do I go for something else? Rating is the way to go typically. Although I could get a quest. I've got tons of stuff here, and I have options for getting points on quests. So that is also a good plan. I think I can't go to the barracks, but I wasn't going to anyway. I'm actually going to go there, and I'm going to trade in a gold and 2 livestock in order to get this quest, which will give me 6 points at the end of the game. And then I will go to the stables, and I will pay 2 coins to get an eagle. And the question is, what eagle? I don't think... Use your hero and take another town center action. That's actually not bad. But remove all wounds from one of your crew members. That one's pretty good. I think I'm actually... Yeah, I'm going to go after this, because if I need to remove wounds, that gives me more options for removing wounds, which I very well might end up having to do. So we're going to do that and go here. They want to raid Chimera. There are no spots in Chimera remaining to raid, and so they are just going to get a power from the animal deck. And then I will go, let's see here. Well, my power is at 4. Oh, man, I've got enough to raid. I've got wagons, I've got that. I think I'm going to go raiding down there. I'm going to have to pay a wagon and 2 provisions, and I'm going to raid that area. And so I have to roll 2 red and a white. There's no gold, so I don't have to roll gold. And my power is at 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Minus 3, I'm at 19 power. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 power, which is enough for 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I got 1 wound in Persia, which I will put onto that guy, and that gives me the 2 kumis I need to get up to my max of 8, which I don't know why I need that. I don't really need it, but that's where I'm at. And I am taking this and that and this worker, and then the AI will go. And let's see. Let's see. What am I doing? What am I doing? Oh, AI. I just flipped a card. They want to raid Chimera and can't. They're going to take top rightmost quest. That's gone. That goes to them. So then it is my turn. Whew. There's only... We're getting close to all the raid spaces being taken. I need provisions. I can't go to the stables. So I'm going to have to use my red guy and go to the farm, grab provisions. And do I use my last cattle to grab provisions? I won't be able to get that. I'm going to need provisions. Honestly, that's probably what I'm going to need the most. So I'm going to do that, turn in my last livestock here, and get 2 provisions. I cannot get kumis because I am maxed out on kumis. So they're going to go. They want to raid Persia. Persia has 1 place to raid. They can do it. They can pay 4. They can pay 3 power, which is going to require them to discard both of these horses. And then they're going to get 9 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I turn the their marker sideways to indicate that they have rounded the board. I might get lapped. It's going to be interesting. So let's see. Do I want to raid? Which I could do to go after 10 points. Or, man, that is a tough choice. Tough choice. I think we're going to pause there and come back. Okay. All right. They want to invade Greece. There are places to invade. They do not have the resources, so they're going to take the bottommost, rightmost quest that they can take, which is that one. And then I will go. I probably am going to need to heal. So I can't go to the stables. I'm going to take a town center action, and I'm going to take the wounds off of 2 crew members and get up to full health. And then, let's see, I have 4, 5, 6. I could get a red, but a gray might be just fine. I don't have 2 cards to spend. I can't do the counter. I'm actually going to take the red and just get 2 provisions because I can't take all 3 because I'm full up. And we'll call that a day. And then the AI will go. He wants to raid Assyria. There is a place to raid. He would have to pay provisions, but doesn't have the provisions. Gets provisions, done. My turn. I want to raid. And let's see my power. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 plus dice to raid. So we could take the last one there. We got plenty here. I'm kind of debating. I have to roll a gold dice there too. I'm thinking about taking this last spot in Greece. What was it? 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20, 22. So there's a pretty good chance of me getting that 26. And I have tons of Kumis. And that's another thing I forgot. I could use Kumis on raids to add to my raid power. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go down here to Greece. I'm going to raid Greece. 26, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. You know what? I'm going to go all out. Nope. I'm going to go to 28. No, I'm going to go to 29. So I'm going to go 29 base rating. Don't have to roll a gold. 29 base rating. Let's see what we get. 29 plus 9 is 30. No, sorry, 38. 39, 40, and 4 wounds. So we've got 4 wounds. We got 40. So we're going to get the 10 victory points. So 21 to 31, which is what I really wanted. And we're not going to take any less wounds, but if I give him that and he's got the double, I can get more Kumis that I can use in future raids. And then I have 3 here. I might as well put 1 on him, 1 on him, 1 on him. I'll get 2 silver. That will give me a little bit there for that raid. That is not too bad. And then I've got my wounds. I've got that. I don't feel too bad about that. That was not bad. So AI is going to go. I forgot. I get my equipment from that raid, and I get a red worker from the raid. So I'll take those. He wants to raid Greece. There is a place to raid. It needs 5 provisions. Doesn't have it. Gets 3. Can't go to the silversmith this round. But, oh, you know what I forgot to pay? Was my wagons and my provisions for that raid in Greece I did last time. That's probably one of the things that it gets easy to forget in this game, is just to forget to pay your resources, and then you can get behind. So you have to kind of pay attention to that. Make sure you're not forgetting something. But I kind of think that was the same deal with raiders. You got to pay attention to where you're raiding and make sure you don't fail to pay whatever you're supposed to pay for that. So I just did him, and I got to figure out, what do I want to do next? I've got plenty of provisions. I've got 2 of these yet. I could go raid them again, but the catch is I have these 2 wounds, so I've actually got 4 less power than I normally would. I don't like that. I could spend some kumis to get a wound off. I could actually get a horse. That would not be bad. If I go to the stables and pay equipment and get another stallion here, that's going to add to my power. It allows me to raid, and then I will use the ability of this guy to get all the wounds off so that I can maybe go down there and raid. I might have to raid somewhere else first. Let's see what we're going to do. We want to raid Assyria. There is a place to raid. We have to pay 3. We need 2 power. We have 2 power. So he's going to take this last area of Assyria, take the worker off, and that goes over there. What am I missing? What are we missing? Yeah, I took those things. I took that. Oh, 6 victory points. That's what we're missing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. And then now I have a gray worker. So I can't go to Assyria. I could go to Persia, though, and raid the last place there, which is probably what I'm going to do, is use 2 provisions and a wagon and go raid here and get this last place. I'll grab that. And I'm going to roll 2 red and a white. There was no gold there. I do have 4 guys in my deal, so that's not an issue. I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. If you don't like math, this is not the game for you. 34. 2 wounds. So I'm going to get those. I'm definitely going to put them on these 2 guys because he'll give me 2 kumis. Plus I will get a coin. And I am going to get the max points for that location, which is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I got my wounds and that, and then I got my worker. Perfect. So now AI will take his last card. He wants to go to Greece. There is a place in Greece. He needs 4 provisions, does not have it, so he's going to gain 3. And then I also would love to go to Greece, and I have enough provisions to go to Greece. Here's a catch. Well, I can get 12 victory points if I raid Greece. I'm going to have a lot of stuff here that could be used for a quest. Should I get a quest? Because I could go get a quest and then get a horse or something. I don't think that's going to be beneficial. So, yep, we're going to raid Greece because raiding is the thing to do in this game. So let's double check our power. We've got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So 23, I already took off the items there. I need to give up my 3 and 2. And I have to roll all 4 of these. So with my 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, because this is probably going to be my last raid, because the game end is triggered after this, and I think we each get a turn. So 28, 38, 39, 40, 41, 1 over the max. So I get 12 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I made it to 49. That's nice. Oh, I forgot to roll the gold for the gold because there was a spot with gold. I'm going to get those items, and I'm going to get 4 wounds, which I will have to divvy up in my crew. We'll definitely put a couple on those guys. That'll give me 2 and a coin. And then I don't think these will give me anything else. I'll just put 2 more wounds on the same guys. That way, if I heal and do something, then that will help. That's that. We're going to shuffle the AI cards again. Go to Persia. There's nothing to raid in Persia, so he's just going to take a horse there. And that is that. So then we do point scoring. Let's see how badly I lost, because I most likely lost. But we'll see, just in case it got close, really. I don't think it was that close. So solo play, your opponent scores additional victory points at the game's end for quests and any remaining horses, but not eagles. Okay, so he's going to score for quests. So he's going to score 6 times 3, 18, 19, 20, 20, 22. 22 more points. 32, 34, 35. So he's going to go over here to 35. So I think he's got like 85. Is that all he does? That's all he scores. Oh, and horses. He's got a horse that gives him 2. But that's it. Okay. All right. So that's not too shabby. Let me go to my scoring, and I get to score a few more things, which is nice. Where is scoring in the game? Players gain additional victory points, moving their score marker along the track as required. The crew, shown on the bottom left hand of the crew cards. Let's see. I don't have any crew that give me points, so that's not going to help. Animals, I've got 1, 2 points from animals. So I'm going to go 1, 2. And quests, 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And each gold is 2 victory points. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 gold. That will get me to 17, or rather 67, I believe. Each equipment will be a victory point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equipment. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And each wagon is 1 victory point. And each pair of livestock is a victory point. So I got 1 victory point, threw my thing off the thing. So I'm at 18. 68. And all there, the player with the highest. So, yep, that's it. I did not win. I got 68 victory points, and the AI got 87. So you can kind of see, probably I should have gone after some quests at some point, but then I wouldn't have rated as much. That is most likely what has happened here. Is getting, I just didn't plan. I didn't plan well enough. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, I should only have 8 coins. You don't get any points for coins. So basically, if I have resources left, then I probably should have planned better. Because I ended up with these 8 coins, which did me no good. And there were a couple of turns I know I got coins and probably didn't need them toward the beginning of the game. Could have been more efficient, done some early raids at the top most likely. Getting the provisions at the start of the game is one of the hardest things to do. But yeah, that is Raiders of Scythia. If you watch the playthrough and you have played Raiders of the North Sea, I'm just curious, what do you think of this one? Having played Raiders of the North Sea, I think they're very similar. I wouldn't buy Raiders because I'd have to buy the expansion with it. I wouldn't buy Raiders of the North Sea. That's part of the reason I backed this game when it came out on Kickstarter, is because I knew this was basically Raiders with expansions, and so I felt like it's good enough. My family likes it. It's pretty fun. We don't play it a ton, but it's an easy one to get out if you need a quick game, because actually the more players you have, the faster, even though you fill in more of these spots for 3 and 4 players, you go through it pretty fast, and it doesn't take that long. I'd say an hour to 90 minutes maybe to play a full game. And teaching isn't that hard. It's a pretty simple teach to go through this. It's just keeping up with the resources and making sure you paid what you're supposed to pay when you go to a place. But that's it. I am not, thinking through the solo experience. So, what are my categories? I don't have them up on my screen at the moment. I'll have to post it up there. I would say setup is not too bad. It comes in a small box. It takes a little bit to set up, but not too much for the solo. Reset, you got to shuffle some things. So I probably put the setup at roughly a 3 for the experience, 2.5 to 3, somewhere in there. It's not bad, but there are, I wouldn't say it's easy or quick. Probably 5 minutes to reset. The experience of the game is it's enjoyable. There is something a little, I'm not sure how to describe it, static about it. I don't find myself immersed into the theme or anything. In fact, some people might find the raiding theme not a very comfortable theme. But it's not unenjoyable, and the parts and pieces, the cards are very nice. The cardboard quests are very good. They're fairly easy to manipulate. They're pretty durable. The meeples are nice. The game tokens, these are very similar to, say, if you've played Lewis and Clark, then these are pretty common to the Lewis and Clark little hex wooden tokens. And the Kumis and the provisions are actually pretty nice. Those provisions, you could honestly take those and use them in the West Kingdom for provisions, and it would be better than the tokens that come in there, or the little cardboard tokens. So that's a good port. If you wanted to port one part from one game to another game, that's a good one. I hadn't actually thought of that till just now. But I'd probably say ballpark, I don't know, might be a 3.5, something like that on the experience. I'm just ballparking off the top of my head. I'll have to read my rubric and just make sure I'm measuring it equally with the other games I've played. I would say from a challenge perspective, I mean, you just watched me play. I was quite a few points away from the AI. I think it would be fairly puzzly and challenging. I've played this and beaten the AI on the lower level, so playing the highest level here was pretty challenging, and I would say that would probably give a pretty significant score margin if I just know, hey, AI probably going to score around 80 to 90 points. That gives me a pretty good score to work toward. And I mean, I don't know that I played the best because I was trying to play pretty fast. But yeah, that I would say was a decent challenge on the hardest setting. I would love to hear comments. What do you think? I'd love to hear, would you even consider this? Is there any reason you'd buy this if you already had Raiders of the North Sea? I don't think I would. Friends that I know that have Raiders of the North Sea, I don't suggest they get this one unless they haven't bought expansions for Raiders of the North Sea. But an expansion would probably be less than purchasing this game outright. If you don't have either game, then it's a tough call. I would probably go with this one because it's going to be less costly than buying Raiders with expansions. But they're both good games, and I feel like Raiders is a little bit more. It's not go get you. It's not like a gotcha kind of effect, but with the Valkyrie and losing your crew members to dying in raids, there's a little bit more, I feel like, of a tougher component than dealing with the wounds, where you don't have to have any crew members die. So it might just depend on what your preference is in board games when it comes to how harsh do you want the game to treat you. I feel like Raiders of the North Sea might be slightly harsher, possibly, but that's probably a opinion that does not have enough games of either one of these behind it to know for sure. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. From Unraveled Gaming.